Do you have regrets when it comes to buying gold and silver? Do you look at the other people out there in this world that have made hundreds of thousands of pounds profit on Bitcoin or on special edition coins? It's not uncommon. It's a normal thing to experience. And I want to talk today about how I personally look and view living with regret when it comes to investing and money and thinking about all those things that one could have done. It's a lot to take in, and I hope today we do it justice in a good, thought-provoking ramble. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for a thought-provoking ramble all about regrets. Do you regret buying gold and silver? Do you regret not buying gold and silver? There's a lot of people right now that I suspect are regretting not buying Bitcoin or not buying the Una and the Lion 2-ounce gold or the World War II 75th anniversary silver and things like that. There are always going to be things that you don't get hold of which will go parabolic, and you might look back and think, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I get that? Equally so, there will be lots of things that you might get where you go, why did I do that? Why did I go for gold? Why did I go for silver? And it's really, really important to reflect on these emotions that you feel, and they really are very much emotions. A lot of the regrets that anybody might be feeling, the green-eyed monsters of jealousy, they all come from human emotions, which are perfectly normal and natural. And in today's video, I do want to address some of my potential regrets and reasonings behind not doing things. And it's around the type of approach that you want to take. There are, of course, thousands of different approaches, strategies, and ways that you can look to buy, invest in anything these days, not just gold and silver, but anything, to be honest. Now, what I am talking about here today is, of course, my own thoughts and opinions on this subject. It is not financial advice. It's certainly not sort of formal mental health advice or anything like that, but it's meant as a way to get people thinking about topics, thinking about emotions, thinking about how you react and interact with your investments as well. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions, so please do feel free to comment down below with them in the comment section. It'd be very great to hear from you down there. And if you are enjoying the video as you go, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more. So regrets. I personally try not to live with regrets as best as I can, but ultimately there will always be regrets in any walk of life for any person. I think it's not normal. I think if you're not feeling any emotions or any regrets on certain things that you do or do not do, that's just, you're almost bordering on sociopathic. Everybody has feelings, everybody has emotions, especially when it comes to money. Money is the thing that rules the roost, most of the time, and it is very important to be conscientious of your emotions when it comes to investments, because a lot of the investments that one makes purely fueled by emotion will likely not be the best decisions. And that's one of the mantras which I've always lived by. I've kind of thought, well, if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to invest in a particular product or stock or share or investment fund, do your own due diligence, do your own due research, think about what it means to you, think about the consequences. I always try and examine and evaluate the ultimate consequences of what something might yield, both return but also liability, what that might entail for me if I am forced to perhaps sell things at a different time, an inopportune moment, for example. And I then make my decision and I kind of stick with it. I'm very much a kind of hold it type person, so I don't day trade, I don't do forex trading, this is one of the reasons why I also don't do Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, because they're too fast paced for me. I prefer an investment that will sit there for a long time and either protect my wealth like gold and silver will, or earn dividends over time, just general passive income over time. That is an incredibly powerful tool to have passive income over time. And that is one of the key drivers for any of my kind of investment decisions. Do I then live with regrets? You look at the parabolic trajectory that some cryptocurrencies have taken in the last, 3, 4, 5 months. And you really do see these huge returns that some people have made, and you kind of look to yourself, and I'll be lying if I didn't, say that, oh gosh, you could have made a lot of money, doing that. But equally so, you could not have done. And, history of cryptocurrencies, I don't want this to be an anti-crypto video. There are people who want to invest in it, people want to buy it and hold it. That's fine. That's completely up to you guys. But history has told us that it is volatile. It is volatile on a daily basis, on a weekly basis even as well. And I've seen peaks. I remember back in 2018 when it peaked at 19,000 and dropped all the way back down to about 5,000. So riding a wave up when it goes is something, but it's more of a risk. And if you are looking to get into something for a long-term position, then it's also a risk. And in my opinion, the Bitcoin risk was too high, so I just didn't do it. Do I live with regrets about that? Well, there are certain regrets that I will look at, yes, because, as I said, you could have made quite a lot of money on the cryptocurrency markets, but I personally don't bother myself too much about that. If you dwell on these things, you won't get anything else done in life. And there are plenty of other avenues out there to look to actually, benefit one's portfolio with or from. And, if you just dwell on these things, then it's just not healthy. Now, of course, one of the other areas that you could potentially fall foul of in gold and silver is missing out on new coins or new releases or specific coins or collector's coins or things that you think would be super beneficial to own and have and not getting. So the fear of missing out, the regrets of not getting a particular item do follow through to gold and silver, and they can be even more so because the intrinsic nature of this stuff, the physical nature of it, Bitcoin aside, it's very much like this intangible asset that you can't touch, can't hold. It's just numbers on a screen. But with a gold coin, you can feel it, see it, enjoy it. And when other people are doing that, especially on YouTube or on the Silver Forum or Instagram, you get this kind of green-eyed monster rearing its head a lot of the time. I know I do when I see people, for example, the Una and the Lion, which is this parabolic proof coin from the Royal Mint that was £4,000 at issue, but has been selling for, 40, £50,000. You're looking at a humongous return on those particular coins. And you, of course, look at that. And I remember seeing that coin when it was coming out. I remember hearing about it. I remember the very early days or the early morning that it came out. And I was like, I just can't justify £4,000 on that. The vast majority of these coins, the proof coins from the Royal Mint, don't go on to yield huge returns. And I didn't want to lock up £4,000 for a long period of time. And then, of course, lots of people have been really cashing in on that boon, on that bonus that's been coming out. And that's great for them. It is fantastic for them. And I'm not begrudging them in any way. But yeah, you look at that and you think, that's a regret. Now, I personally, as I say, don't try to dwell on regrets because I think it's not healthy for your own sanity. If you dwell on every single regret that you make, you'll just get nothing done in life. And that's a real skill. It can be very hard to do, but it's also a skill which will yield you more in the long run, I personally think. I have seen other coins which I have bought, which I have regretted buying at higher prices. I haven't got any of them out here on the table, but there's a few quarter-ounce gold proof Britannias and things, or proof sets from the Royal Mint, which I just know are going to not yield anything. And I look at them now and I think, why did I buy them? I bought them perhaps because of a little bit of hype, or perhaps there was a bit of a buzz about them at the time they came out, but it's fallen off. Prime example is things like the Beatrix Potter coin series. So the first issuing of those went parabolic. It went really well for the Peter Rabbits. You're talking at £500 for a £5 piece of silver. It's £65 issue price turns into £500 retail price. Really, really good. And so of course the next issuing, I bought like 6 of the Peter Rabbits, thinking, well, they might not go quite as high, but they might do pretty well, so let's buy 6 of them. I ended up releasing pretty much, I've got one of them left, so we've got one for posterity, releasing all of those at an eventual break even, but simply from sheer luck through eBay sales, just at the right time at the back end of that kind of initial flip period. I think I basically made about a tenner on 5 or 6 coins. That's not a great return, and it's one which I don't like the idea. In theory, I'm still down because the last one that I still got is, still not performing well. It won't perform well anytime soon, if ever. So it's very much going to have cost me money. Now, I don't dwell on losses. It's important to reflect on the losses and learn from them, but I don't dwell on them. And that can be the same for movements in the markets of just general prices. So a prime example from recent times is I just bought a 1 ounce gold Krugerrand on the Silver Forum. And at the time of purchase, spot price was about £1,400 an ounce. Of course, now it's £1,350 an ounce. So you look at that in a simple term of loss being £50 on the ounce. Well, no, you don't actually lose anything until you sell something. And that's both great to kind of have as a mentality, but also dangerous as a mentality as well, because not realizing your losses or loss leaders when they are sitting there in your stack or in your collection is quite bad. I think it's understanding what has potential, what doesn't have potential, what has made money on paper and what has lost money on paper is a real skill, and then picking when to actually release that. I've had my fair share of premium coins like the Ares God of War coin with the kind of gold gilding on it. You know, that was bought for about £450. I sold that personally for £900, but it subsequently went on to be able to sell for around £1,500. So, you know, you look at that and you think, do I regret not holding it longer and selling it? No, I made a profit on it and I moved on from it. That's how I operate. That's how I run. So it is a learned skill. It is very difficult not to live with regrets. It's very much this case of just try and crack on with things as best as you can. The old British stiff upper lip, you make a mistake, learn from it, move on. Don't get the green-eyed monster, I guess, is the long message here in this video. You see so many videos about cryptocurrencies. I'm going to go back to cryptocurrencies because I get it all the time in my comments. I get spam and scam style comments, which I police and kind of moderate out as soon as they come in. People going, contact Mr. Benjamin for blah, 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 Bitcoin, all this jazz. It's absolute load of dangly bits. But the point is that there are people who will prey on the vulnerabilities of others that believe that they are missing out and that they want to have these results coming in from cryptos or Bitcoin. And just because somebody else has made money on a particular product is not a guarantee that others will. And it's the same with things like Forex trading. I get a lot of those spam comments down below. Day trading, it's essentially a gamble. It's essentially going to a casino and putting money on red or black. In fact, I would argue that the odds are probably not as favorable as red or black in a casino. And that's one of the kind of comments that I always put back. If there's somebody that's genuine and real that is spouting off about how good cryptos are or how good Forex day trading is, I always go and I just say, look, it's not for me. I respect the fact that you want to do it, and that's great. If you want to do it, go ahead, but make sure that you're doing it with the right mentality, with the right understanding of it, and the right backdrop of financial security. This is kind of the message, that the crescendo, so to speak, of the video that I'm building up to. A lot of this comes down to your own fiscal responsibility, your own understanding of what risk that you would like to take and what level of risk you are comfortable with, both financially and also the element of your portfolio risk. Now, I don't just invest in gold and silver. I have stocks and shares. I have I have funds that I invest in, both, all these kind of things. Stock markets, I am very much tied to those as well. And in recent times, one of my good friends, in fact, got me onto this, was thinking about the travel companies, so the airlines, and how the pandemic has, of course, dropped their share prices drastically. In the UK, we're talking about a couple of different companies, but EasyJet, TUI, those are two very big ones that I have positions in. And I'm telling you right now that my EasyJet shares since purchase have gone up 60% in about 4 months. That is ridiculous. Now, picking when to exit is very different, and it's something that I'm kind of getting to grips with. My friend that we talked about with this, and he went in, he actually took a position significantly higher than myself, but he went into EasyJet and TUI and he cashed out, and he's got a nice big profit in his pocket already. I'm holding for a bit longer, and that's my mentality. I kind of do that. Whether it will be to my benefit in the long run, we'll see. I'll maybe do a video updating it at some point. But for me, as I said at the start of the video, it's about that risk management. And so for me, I'm quite happy to take a little bit more of a gamble, a little bit more of a risk, hold for a little bit longer, take the opportune moment when I see it best for me. And that is the ultimate strategy that nobody can tell you otherwise. Make sure that what you do is right for you and in your own circumstances, your own financial circumstances as well. There is no better message to finish this video on. Nobody can tell you what is right for you other than you. And that is one of the biggest things that you can understand with dealing with this kind of fear of missing out, this regret, this world that we live in, where you see other people doing certain things and you think, I should be doing that, or I want to be doing that. It might not be right for you. So please do bear that in mind and think and act on your own volition. That is another key critical thing. Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you. So there we go. Those are my thoughts on regrets around gold, silver, Bitcoin, and all of that. I'd love to know your thoughts on the subject. If there are big risk takers out there, let me know what your biggest risk return was. Let me know as well, if you are comfortable doing so, what your biggest loss was on these, because there definitely have been things that I've lost on. A prime example for me, another airline. I'll just finish this video with a little story. So the airlines question there that I was talking about, we've invested in EasyJet and TUI, but we also invested in IAG, which has lost, like, for me anyway, about £700 in value. So that's quite a hefty loss. Now, my friend, he's cashed out of that, and he's just taken that loss and written it off against his other profits. I'm holding. I am a holder. So I will hold for a long time. But on paper right now, I have about a £700 loss, something like that, a £600-700 loss on IAG, International Airlines Group. So, it is what it is. It goes round in roundabouts. You've got to learn from your mistakes if you make them, and learn not to dwell on these things. This is all relative to one's own situation. That's the message. So if you have enjoyed this video and you'd like to share your own thoughts and opinions, the comment section is where you should do it. Head down there. All I ask is that you be respectful of mine and other people's opinions. Otherwise, if you have enjoyed this video, then make sure that you put a thumbs up on it and share it around on your social media. That would be very helpful for everything we do here on the YouTube channel and with the YouTube algorithm, all that jazz. Otherwise, hit the subscribe button as well if you want to see videos like this in the future, and put the alarm bell on if you want to get notifications. Have a fantastic week ahead. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.